Welcome to the Encore Audio Archives YouTube channel. I'm Taper Dave, and this is my channel. I've uploaded hundreds of talks here that I've recorded at meetings in West LA, and I've also recorded conventions starting in 2013. I've got a bunch of those up. And Walt and Mary Murray, the original owners of Encore Audio Archives, started the company in the 80s, and Walt recorded Joe and Charlie's and a bunch of stuff down in Vista, California. My sobriety date is June 20th of 1994. I hope you find something you like, so please like and subscribe to my channel and comment down below. If you want to hear something that I don't have or that you don't see, I'll see that I get it. Anyways, take care and have a great day if you want to.
And now it is time to introduce our main speaker for tonight, and that is Chris.
My name's Chris Davis. I'm an alcoholic. Welcome to AA if you're new. Thank Jeff for calling me at like fucking 5 o'clock tonight to speak at his meeting. I haven't been here. How long has this meeting been here?
17 years.
Not in this fucking building. I haven't been here in a couple years. Because I go to a meeting in my neighborhood where there's a lot of fucking newcomers. But it's a good meeting. How about that fucking food from Malik tonight? If you're new, it's not like that all the time. Usually there's some fucking nasty cookies and some really strong coffee. Very friendly people. If you're new, I'm an alcoholic. Why? I don't fucking know. I don't know what happened. But apparently the way I drink is not normal to people other than me. It seems very normal. I had some adventures and some things, and I got to Alcoholics Anonymous. I did the 12 steps under duress. And if you're new or kind of dumb, that means that I kind of had to do it. I didn't want to do it. I didn't know what that meant when I got here. I started drinking for no reason whatsoever other than I was with my cousin and one of his idiot friends, and it was hot. And they had beer, and we drank some beer. And nothing spectacular happened other than, it was Miller beer. It was probably like fucking 105 outside. And we were sitting in a car with no air conditioning, because where I grew up, everybody was poor. A couple people had cars, but no air conditioning. And we were sitting in the car, like we weren't even driving. We lived on an island near a fucking beach. We were just like parked by some trees. Not even going to the beach, no wind, no nothing. Sitting in the car listening to music like retards. Drinking a big bottle of Miller beer. And nothing weird happened other than I've never, ever forgotten that moment. Ever. I always grill my two brothers because they're not alcoholics and they're fun to fuck with. And I ask them if they remember their first beer, and they're like, no, why? I was like, isn't it etched in your fucking brain? And like, the Cinerama Dome, the little replay, like, the little water coming off the bottle. This band War had a song called Why Can't We Be Friends, which I do not like that fucking song. I'm great if you do. That was on the radio. It wasn't special to me, but I remember that goddamn song. And it was hot, and nothing happened. Nothing. And 6 months later, I was shooting drugs. A lot. And that wasn't common where I was from. That's not common on James Island. It wasn't common. I didn't know anybody that shot drugs. Well, obviously I met somebody that did, but it wasn't obvious. It wasn't, there weren't any junkies where I'm from. There weren't, a bunch of us smoked pot. and surfed and drank beer because, you know, we were 13 and it was hot and none of us had jobs and we were all poor. But, you know, my brothers grew up in the same environment. They didn't do any of that shit. My one brother's never smoked a cigarette in his life. And he's got liquor in his freezer from his fucking wedding like 14 years ago. I'm like, why do you keep it in there? He goes, you know, it's symbolic for my marriage to my wife. I'm like, why don't you drink it? He goes, I hate the taste of liquor. I'm like, yeah, well, if we switch shoes for a day, that bottle would be gone, the fridge would probably be gone, and that marriage would be in fucking hell. Because I'm an alcoholic and something happens to me when I drink. If you're new, I ain't straight edge. I'm not anti-alcohol. I'm not no drugs. None of that. I love shooting fucking drugs. Because it's great. It's just an effective delivery system as far as I'm concerned. It's like drinking wine coolers all day or wine in the box if you're classy like I was. Or taking a couple shots of wild turkey. It's the same thing, you know, it's the same, it just got me there faster. And apparently I responded to that stuff faster than normal and enjoyed it. And I never once in my life ever said, and I went through some horrific stuff before I got here due to drinking and never saw it. I never once was like, God, I shouldn't drink. It never crossed my mind not to drink because drinking is advertised on TV. And, you know, they don't show dudes getting punched through the fucking window, you know. They show all the kind of, I won't say fat, but they show kind of the heavier guys like getting the hot girl. And every beer commercial I've worked on, I mean, the chicks are smoking and the dudes are like, you know, middle class, you know, upper, maybe mid-management, Best Buy manager kind of guy, you know. I get it. But, you know, they never showed anybody flying through the windshield of a car, you know, into a tree and dying, and, you know, and their friend getting paralyzed in the passenger seat. But, you know, and then, you know, a slow shot of a can of Bud crumpled rolling down the freeway and, you know, gently reflected in the fucking coroner's lights. But that's apparently what happens around me when I drink alcohol, because when I drink, something weird happens. And the weirdest thing about the whole thing is that it is never weird to me. It is never odd. It is never weird. It's never like, whoa, that was weird. Never. And I apparently had blackouts, and if you're new, that means you start drinking at 7 and you wake up the next day and you've been places and communicated with people in a variety of ways, and they remember it, and I don't. I didn't know I had those. And if you're new, I didn't know shit about my drinking until I did the 12 steps. And if you're new and you think it's a cult, I think cults try to keep you in here, like begging and try to get your money. Hey, he's like, you know, I'm gonna drink. Fucking leave, dude. See ya. Ain't no books to sell, ain't no flowers to fucking hand out at the airport. We don't sell fucking keychains, nothing. I've seen some people try to make money off of this thing. It's hilarious. There's some pissed off dudes. It's like this thing, I don't understand Alcoholics Anonymous other than I haven't had a drink in 16 years, 11 months, and 3 weeks because I did the 12 steps, which if you're new, I mean, are they hanging up there? Yeah. Dude, read that shit. It looks so pathetic. Because if you're new, I get the problems you might be having. Like, everybody's on your ass. It's kind of bad. I mean, when I saw how bad my drinking was, it was kind of like, if you're from the South, you may not get this, but it'd be like fucking your cousin and like someone turned the lights on, like your aunt. You're like, oh. Wasn't ready for that. That's the kind of revelation I had when I worked on that first step. It was fucking awful. Luckily, nobody came in and did turn on the lights, but But that was the horrible revelation I had on the first step. So if you're new and you're like, oh yeah, I'm doing 1, 2, and 3 all the time. You know, I don't want to break your heart, but you know, it requires like a pen and a stolen notebook and a borrowed big book and some dude who's really not your fucking buddy listening to you like this. No, that's not it. Because I have alcoholism, and one of the horrible traits about it is that I can't remember I have it. I don't know I have it, which is why all my genius friends that drink again after being in AA for, you know, weeks, months, or years, always talk to me about drinking like I'm not in AA. Always like, hey, fucker, I got a sponsor. I go to meetings. Like, I give out chips and read chapter 5. Why are you telling me the great value of your new discovered, you know, you can drink Rolling Rock at the beauty bar. I don't give a fuck. I never liked you in the first place. Why are you telling me that? Compelled to tell me how great it is to control their drinking, which, you know, normal people apparently never do or try or think about. Never. I didn't know any of this stuff until I went through the big book, ever. And that first step was that was like 8 bitches on a bitch boat. That was a motherfucker, man. Oh, God damn it. If you're new, look at your drinking. Don't look at mine. Don't compare your ass to me, because you ain't from South Carolina and grew up on Quail Drive. We got fucking dick in common. Nothing. So don't go, oh, I didn't drink like that weirdo. Look at your own weirdo and see how that fucker drank. I didn't get how I drank. I never fucking saw it. So this is my 3rd time in AA. I forgot I'd been in here twice. How the fuck does some horror show like this just slip your mind? Oh, God. I mean, it's awful. It's cool we have a good time, but if you're new, look around, dude. We're it. There's no referral service. There's no manager who's going to come in and, oh, yeah, we've been looking for you. Coming up to the quiet room. There ain't no quiet room. By the way, Malik, them fucking greens were good. Those were fucking good. If you don't put vinegar in greens, they just suck. I didn't do these steps because I thought it'd be interesting to be spiritual, because where I'm from, that sounds like gay and hippie. 2 things I don't really rock with. But when I came to in this hospital in Culver City, and these guys were like, hey, I was like, I won't say what I said because it was extremely racist and rude, and it would offend everybody in here. I can do pockets. Because I didn't know where I was. I mean, I knew I went to a hospital to die because I was kind of sick. But I didn't intend on waking up. And I certainly didn't intend to wake up with a fan club in my fucking room staring at me, which is just awful. Because, you know, I mean, I might have had a fucking boner or something. I mean, you don't want to just wake up in a hospital like, what the fuck are all these people looking at me? It was fucking bad. It was bad. And I was 27 years old. Been in the military, I'd served my country, a patriotic Southern motherfucker. There was nowhere in the plans that I was supposed to wake up in that situation with a bunch of people looking at me like a fucking charity case. That's not fucking cool. And if you're new and it seems like it's charity, it's not fucking charity. Like, I get it, what it's like not to be able to stop drinking. I get it. There's no fucking sympathy here. Too goddamn bad. I don't know how you caught it. But I caught it and I fixed it, and if you want help, I'll fucking help you. That's what I've been doing in AA. I think that's why I stay sober. I didn't come here to be fucking Casper the Friendly Ghost in AA. I've met some friendly people in AA. There are some. I don't hang out with them. I don't know what they do all day. They're just nice. I'm like, that's kind of weird. So if you're new, I didn't know any of this stuff about me. Like, before I did the steps, I thought I was a nice Southern guy. I really did. And then I did the steps, and I read my 5th step to this guy, and I was like just a third of the way. Well, I mean, it was enormous, but I got it. I'm like, oh, that's why Skipper was shooting that gun at me. I get it. I mean, for years, I couldn't figure that out. I'm like, what the fuck is that guy shooting at me for? And then I got Timmy Norton to beat his fucking ass unconscious, and he never fucked with me again, but I forgot I'd been fucking with him. Apparently a lot, because he was shooting a gun at me. You know what's weird? I ran into that fucker 2 months before I got sober in Long Beach at this shitty fucking retail store I had to work in. And that dude was scared to see me. And I was all sucked up on crack. I was a fucking mess. No, it was a year before I got sober. Or a year and a half. I was fucked up. I shot speed for like about 19 hours and then went to work at the fucking Long Beach piece of shit fucking poor people pathetic mall where I worked at this shitty place selling TVs, and I couldn't see. I'd shot so much speed, like I couldn't see. I mean, I walked to the mall from my house because I couldn't figure out how to buy a car anymore, like this, because if I saw anything further than 4 or 5 inches, I'd get all dizzy and fall down. Which I guess is a side effect from shooting that much crystal meth. And I knew I had to be at work the next day. But, you know, it's just speed. I mean, fuck. And I remember I went and I was at work and I was like this, and like our district manager, one of this fucking, whatever the fuck he was, came in, toner salesman, I don't know what the fuck. You know, bad jacket, bad tie. Brett. It's Brett. Like, whatever, dude. I mean, he combed his hair. He had a jacket. I didn't like the guy. But remember, he came in, and I was all like, I was trying to read stuff. And he's like, are you okay? And I was like, oh, I got mugged by these sailors last night. You know, one hit me in the back of the head with a brick. He's like, dear God, you should be at the hospital. I was like, well, why didn't you call somebody? And I was like, it never crossed my mind to call someone and go, I can't make it into work. I had that weird work ethic. Or I was crazy, because you're not supposed to go to work like that. I would go to this nasty bar in Long Beach and like just find some of the craziest people in this one. It was like a bar. It was like if Popeye wasn't a cartoon and he was real, and shit had gone real bad for him and that whole crew. Like this was the bar they'd be in. And I'd go in there and I'd like tell these guys, oh yeah, I'm the manager of it, like, you know, Shoe World, and you're just the kind of guy I'm looking for. And I'd like hire them in the bar. I'd be like, tomorrow morning, I want you to go in there and take charge. Like, usually I do that when I had the next day off, so I wouldn't be at the mall when like the police came in and beat these poor drunk men who were trying to run Shoe World. I never thought about shit like that. It would just occur to me, usually after Wild Turkey. Just like burning down a house or a building. It didn't have to be a home. But I would get this weird thing drinking where I would have to light something on fire. Or I would have to climb on a building. And I almost killed myself a few times in the army in Germany. Because a 3-story building in Germany is like an 8-story building here. It's a fucking big building. Because I almost fell off the 3rd floor of our barracks like 7 times. Because it'd be snowing and all nice, and I would just crawl out the window, wasted. Because I had to climb on. I never understood why I did that shit, but I felt it. Like as if I was at NASA and they put you in some room where they just squeeze you with air. I would feel weird stuff drinking. I'd always ask my buddies, I'm like, do you see anything? And they were like, oh, here he goes again. Like I would really feel something, and then I'd have to go climb on something, or if I had to set something on fire, I'd just be like, I got to go for a walk. Because when you start lighting buildings on fire in an army barracks area, they don't, look far, because there's only so many people that can get in the barracks in the first place. And after about 6 fires, I got in a lot of trouble for stuff. But it was never for drinking. Nobody ever said, dude, you got to stop drinking. You should stop drinking. You should slow down on your drinking. Like, why do you drink so much? I never heard that in my life. So when I got approached to do this stuff, it was like meeting a vegan for the first time. Well, I'm at a barbecue. You know, like, why are you eating that? I'm like, well, because I'm at a goddamn barbecue. It's not a stir fry, it's a barbecue. It was weird. I didn't have any reference. I'd forgotten that my dad had taken me when I was 16. I forgot that I went while I was locked up in the psych unit in South Carolina for a while. Yeah, how do you forget shit like that? It was like, oh shit, I was in a fucking mental institution. I was there twice. Oh, that's where that weird pot holder came from. Now I remember. Oh yeah, I made that at crafts time. God, it sucks going crazy because people are just like, make a moccasin. You're like, oh. I don't know if that makes you better. It never made me better. But I have never worn a pair of moccasins in my life. I made a few, but I would never wear them. And it kind of seemed like pottery time and moccasin time with this 12-step stuff. It really did. I didn't get it. Like, I checked in a hospital because I was really sick. I weighed 130 pounds. I didn't know that. They weighed me in the hospital later. I just knew that all I could wear was sweatpants, and those fuckers were falling off. And when I got to the hospital, I had 3 pair of pants on, my sweatpants and 2 pair. I think I had like a pair of Guess jeans, like Stonewash. I've never had to wear Stonewash jeans since I got sober. That's one of the promises for my ass in this program. And I had like 3 shirts on. Like I knew I was sick. I didn't get how bad, because I used to look in the mirror and I'd look at windows and shops in Long Beach, because I'd gone, you know, I mean, if you're new, you know when you fucking lose it. You know it. I mean, you're not going to tell anybody else, but, you know, I knew it. I'm like, oh, man, kind of fucking overshot the mark this time, because the shit I'm hearing isn't stopping when I come down. I mean, I get it. It's fun shooting speed and hearing, like, the devil yell at you. Or, you know, or your aunt, or, you know, going to some Wizard of Oz tornado thing. But then, you know, you come down, you drink some beer, you sleep, and it stops, and it stopped stopping. Which is crazy. It's like, uh-oh. Well, who am I going to tell? I'm hearing stuff. So I got myself into this hospital. I didn't realize how bad it was. Like, I never saw how bad I looked in that hospital. I never saw it. I never saw it in the store windows. I never saw it in any mirrors. I never saw it. I know my crack dealer, Alex, which I doubt was his real name. He didn't speak any English. I didn't speak Spanish, but I had a little Berlitz for Travelers book in Italian. So we would work out how to buy crack. But the only English word he ever said to me once was doctor, while he was pointing at me. And I was like, no, I'm not a doctor. I work at McDonnell Douglas and build airplanes for the military. And he was like, doctor, you. I was like, 40. And then, you know, we got back to speaking the language of the heart. Although I never figured out how to say lighter in Spanish, but isn't that weird? I learned Spanish because I bought so much crack. I didn't take Spanish class. I was learning that shit on the fly. I'm like, how do you ask for more? I didn't really need more, but, you know, just in case. I wanted more because, you know, even though I had to be at work, I mean, I smoked crack and shot speed and drank and would sit there and knew I had to be at work in 2 hours. After I'd known I had to be at work in 9 hours, and just sat there and watched the clock and lay there and tried to go to sleep. Like, all this weird stuff that I knew was odd, but I just the weird thing was, the second it crossed my mind, it was weird and it was odd. I seemed to have this ability to just kind of roll with it. And when I did those steps, I saw, for me, the most horrible part about alcoholism was that I got really good and very acclimated to doing shit I did not like to do and had no interest in doing it. Like, I was getting good at, like, figuring out how to light those little plastic Q-tips with fingernail polish remover, which is why I had that shit in my house in the first place. I've never figured out. And then lighting that in a toaster, which will kick off a pretty good flame, but, you know. And I lived a block away from a grocery store where, you know, I could have bought a box of book matches for like $1 probably. But, you know, I did that stuff for like a week in my house one time. You know, yeah, I know. And then I discovered, well, if you kind of smoke it with the fingernail polish remover still on it, because at first I was like, oh, I don't want any harmful chemicals. But, you know, it's like everything, like whatever came up, any kind of weird natural instinct, like, as a human being, you may not want to breathe that stuff in. You know, I just saw benefits to why I could do, and it was just subtle. It was weird, crazy, and when I learned, it was fucking alcoholism, plain and simple. Like, wow, maybe I shouldn't, it's cool, before I can finish saying that. And I never saw that until I wrote out these steps under duress with these guys who made sure I wrote this shit out and made sure I fucking understood AA very, very clearly. Because they were like, look, loser, the only way this works, you got to start helping other fuckers. And you can't be walking around here not knowing what the fuck you're talking about. Like, you're going to be able to take a guy through the steps by the time you have 30 days, or we will just beat your ass. I was like, Jesus Christ, these guys are loving. You know, I mean, it's just fucking, I mean, you're new. You know how we look at you. We're like, oh, welcome. Oh, I'm dying. We're like, here, have a chip. Clap. I'm dying. Hey, great. Glad you're here. You don't see that shit in a cancer ward. There ain't a whole lot of applause going on. There's not. Or maybe a schizophrenic unit. But not all together at the same time. And if you're new, the reason we do all this chanting stuff, I learned, because I'm like, why do they fucking say hi after everybody says its name? I mean, it's like we're in like Tard camp or something. And they were like, well, because some of us have found out that when we really said our name and that we were alcoholics, that was the hardest thing we've ever had to say. And the rest of the room is like, you know what? It's cool. We're like, hi. It's cool that you said that. Because I noticed a lot of you fucking new people couldn't say that shit. You say you're from Texas. Can't say alcoholic. Try saying that. Try it if you're new. Next time you go to a meeting, say your name and you're an alcoholic. After you've written out a first step with somebody who's done the steps. That's a fucking, oh man, that's horrible. That was the hardest thing I ever said in my life. And if you're new and that sounds all Lifetime channel, fuck you. Try it. Have alcoholism and figure that shit out with the help of somebody else, and then have to say out loud, my name's Chris, I'm an alcoholic. Because that means I can't control my drinking. I probably wouldn't control it if I thought I could. I don't give a fuck. It's going to kill me, maybe, you know, maybe shorten my life by 10 or 15 years. But I can't remember that I have this problem that I wrestle with. So I don't even wrestle with it because I don't know I have this problem, except when my mom's like, where have you been? It's like, oh, I'm in the Army. We haven't heard from you in 2 years. I was like, oh, well, I'm still in the Army. Yeah, I just like don't call my family. All this weird, subtle shit that went on. And I didn't see any of it until these guys made me do the 12 steps. So if you're new, it's a 12-step program because 85% of us in this room have done the 12 steps. And not one of us was fucking happy about it. We all seem crazy happy now. Hey, good to see you. Good chicken. How about them greens? Have a cake. Happy birthday. These are my friends. That's because we're relieved. We're like, fuck, I probably don't have to go to jail again. Woo, how you doing? Pretty fucking good. Pretty good. How's it been? Great. I haven't thrown up all over myself in a while. I haven't ruined a board meeting by coming to and realizing I didn't have a shirt on. And I was at the wrong company. Bizarre shit. Like the stuff that happens to alcoholics when they drink alcohol is nothing short of fucking bizarre. There's nothing, which is why the steps are as bizarre. The problem's weird, the fucking answer's weird. The cool thing is, it works. I haven't seen a guy yet do the steps and keep doing them, all 12, and then pass it on. Keep doing the first 11 so you don't beat up the new guys and you actually help them. And then keep doing the first 11 so your life gets better and you pass it on so it works. I haven't seen those guys drink. I haven't seen them. Alan's got a gang of fucking time. He's all like creeped out, living in a fucking little basement with tinfoil, right, on the windows. Dude, we think of shit. We're like, what a grand idea. Why didn't I think of that earlier? Good thing we don't have like bricks and black paint laying around when we move into places. We're like, I have an idea. Oh. Bad. I go to New York. Victor, I call him up. He's like, dude, let's go to meetings. And I always forget. I'm like, fuck, everybody walks around New York. I'm lazy, and my feet hurt like an hour after I'm in New York. And then we meet Joey, and he's got a car. I'm like, fuck yeah, let's go to another meeting. He's like, I'll drive. I'm not supposed to be in New York. I'm supposed to be dead in Long Beach or locked up in a mental ward or, you know, wandering around with a shopping cart being kooky, you know, trying to figure out why I got a goddamn fucking Pop-Tart box in my shopping cart and I don't throw it away. And it was chocolate, which I fucking hate. I mean, I grew up on Pop-Tart. That's a good Southern food, but chocolate are nasty. Fucking, you don't put chocolate in a Pop-Tart. That's stupid. Like a fucking chocolate Eggo. I mean, it's dumb. It might be good for fat kids in the North, but not where I'm from. We don't eat that shit. There was no prize on the back, no word game, no fucking puzzle, like find your way out, nothing. I would look at that all the time and be like, fuck, man. There wasn't even like a silver wrapper in there I could like crinkle and, you know, be all weird with. Nothing. It's an empty fucking goddamn chocolate Pop-Tart box. And I could not fucking throw this goddamn thing away. And it fucking aggravated the shit out of me. And then I found out I had alcoholism. And that's a fucking direct, like that lets me know how sick this fucking disease is. Because I'm kind of smart. There's no need to keep a Pop-Tart box. There's none. And I could not get rid of this goddamn thing. I could not fucking get, it was still in my shopping cart when I left it in Long Beach and went to the hospital. I fucking hate Pop-Tarts. I hate them now, but is that enough? Three more stories? Okay. When I was a young lad fishing, me and Uncle Tim were fishing. I always felt bad when I went fishing. I felt bad about fucking up that fish with a hook. I always felt, I don't look like a guy who would feel bad. I look like the guy that would like go in the water and kill it with a hammer. But I really always felt bad for those fish. I did. It just seems wrong to fucking jack a hook in some dude's fucking mouth. He's all like, dude, look at that worm. And you're like, bam. Later, fucker. You're done. And then I did the steps and I saw that's kind of what alcoholism's like. You know, just fuck. I was like, wow, look, a nice big fat worm. And then I get ripped out of my life with a fucking mean, painful hook in my mouth. And then, you know, whatever happens in the boat happens. I got no say-so. I fucking did the steps, and they were like, cut the wire. Except I was like, you guys got to cut it. They're like, no, this is AA. You got to do everything on your own. Like, we can't do it for you. We can be here and represent and say, look, fucker, we did it. It worked. If you want what we have and are willing to do it, you can have it. If you want what we have and you want us to give it to you, you are fucked. It ain't going to happen. Like, I can't do your 4th step. I don't know who you hate. I can't do your 9th step. I don't know all your relatives that you fucked over. Can't do it. I don't know what your drinking was like, and you probably don't if you're new. I didn't. I had no idea. And I did those steps, and now I get to do fun shit like this. So if you're new, it's fucking corny, man. It's weird, you know. Count all the chairs, count all the chicks, count all the guys, count all the races. You know, there's all kind of shit you can do in a meeting. I try to figure out who's gay and, you know, who's on TV, you know, count the lights. You know, there's tons of shit to do. But try to listen now and again for a minute or two at a meeting and listen to the people who are saying, I did the steps and my life is better. Oh, and happy birthday, Jennifer. Where is she? Jennifer. She hates that. I don't care. Like, we've all stayed sober. Me, Victor, Joey, Benji, Alan, Jeff, and we've all been through fucking, you know, normal life shit that is very painful to sensitive alcoholics like us. But we get through it. So if you're new, you can come up and ask a gang of us how we're able to stay sober, like through, what's this fucking holiday coming up? President's Day? We're working. Ain't no fucking holiday for me. How do you get through a 3-day? How do you go to a barbecue and not get drunk? That was a revelation to me. Now I have barbecues and don't get drunk. Good ones. You can fuck some chickens up at a barbecue. And the cops don't come. Even when I want them to. I'm like, I wish half these motherfuckers would leave. I want a nap. But, so, you know, it's quality problems. And if you're new, you're welcome in AA. Happy birthday to all you fuckers. If you got less time than the guy that had a birthday, go ask him how he did it. Keep coming back. You're welcome here. I'd suggest get a big book. I stole mine. Worked fine. Perfectly fine. Do the steps and see if it works. If it doesn't work, great. But if it does, it'll work. So keep coming back. Thanks.
Sorry to interrupt your viewing. Taper Dave here. Just wanted to take a second to ask you to like and subscribe to my channel. Let me know if you like what you're listening. I've got some very good talks here, and this one's a great one. Just curious, do you think this is better than Zoom? Tell me what you think. Okay, this is how I prepare my drone for launching. I like to do it inside the cab of my truck so I'm not standing outside in the weather. To install the joysticks for control, up and down, right and left, powered on. I have an Android phone that I use to connect it to the drone with. And it's actually controlled through the iPhone, through an app. Oops, wrong way. It's actually controlled through the iPhone, or through this Android phone, through the app. It's actually controlled through the Android phone, through an app, and you connect it through this short connection right here.
Remote control connected.
Remote control's connected. So I pull out the drone. I have to extend the legs. Long legs extended first, then the short legs. Remove the gimbal protector. Set that aside, then power it on one short burst and one long burst. I lay it down. So I have to go to calibrate. So the drone's not connected yet. It shows you here as this drone gets disconnected, even though the remote's powered on. So the drone has to establish it's connected. So I go into the app to calibration mode. First I'll calibrate the remote controller. Start calibration. Out, in, oop, out, in, up, down, and then this little wheel is to control the gimbal. So it's calibrated. Go to gimbal calibration, start calibration, and then it calibrates the gimbal. I don't know if that shows up. The gimbal's moving all over the place. Changes, you can see it on the video. and I'm calibrated to take off. It's acquired 7 satellites at the moment. There are 26 satellites up in the sky, which it has to acquire before you can take off. So it's connected. It's got enough satellites. This is white. I can go to press this little arrow button, swipe right to take off, and it would start the motors if I slid this to the right, but I'll wait till I get outside. Don't want to do it inside.